Ethan Cole woke up at 4:30 a.m., same time every day. For 30 years. No alarm needed. His body knew. He walked to the window of his penthouse apartment. 54th floor. The city sprawled below like a living map. Millions of people. Millions of lives. Millions of stories.
He didn't know any of them. Didn't want to.
His reflection stared back at him in the glass. A black man in his early 50s. Distinguished. Successful. Alone. He had built an empire from nothing. But somewhere along the way, he had lost something. He just didn't know what. 2 hours later, Ethan sat at the head of a 20-foot conference table. 12 executives watched him carefully. He was presenting the quarterly numbers. Growth in Asia. Expansion in Europe. Profits up 18%. The room nodded in approval. But Ethan's mind drifted. He looked at their faces. All waiting for his approval. All wanting something from him. He thought about the last time someone wanted nothing from him. He couldn't remember. Sir, your thoughts on the European acquisition? Ethan blinked. Approved. The meeting continued. But something felt different today. A restlessness he couldn't explain. After the meeting, Ethan dismissed his driver. I'll walk, he said. The assistant looked confused. Sir, it's freezing out there. I'll walk, he repeated.
No explanation.
No reason. He just needed to move. To feel something real. The cold air hit him like a wall. December in the city was unforgiving. People rushing everywhere, heads down, trying to escape the cold. Ethan walked without direction. For once, he had no destination. Past expensive shops. Past office buildings. Past a train station. He almost kept walking. Almost. But something made him slow down. Something made him turn his head. She sat against the cold stone wall near the station entrance. Young. Maybe 25. Black. Natural hair pulled back. She wasn't calling out for money. Wasn't performing desperation.
She just sat there.
Quiet. Still. Dignified. In her arms, a little girl slept. The child couldn't have been more than 3. Her small face peaceful despite the cold. The woman adjusted her thin coat around the child. Her own hands were bare, red from cold. But she kept rubbing her daughter's hands, trying to keep them warm. Beside her, a small piece of cardboard. Handwritten. Single mom. Trying to start over. Ethan stopped walking. Commuters rushed past her like she was invisible. Hundreds of people. Thousands. Some glanced and quickly looked away. The universal signal of not my problem. Some pretended she wasn't there. Eyes fixed on phones, on destinations. Some walked faster, as if poverty was contagious. No one stopped. No one asked her name. No one saw her. Ethan had done the same thing 1,000 times. Walked past people like her without a second glance. Told himself whatever he needed to feel better about doing nothing. But today was different. Today, he couldn't look away. What's your name? He asked. The woman looked up. Her eyes were cautious. Not desperate. Not hopeful. Just present. Marissa, she said quietly. And this is Lila. Ethan crouched down. Level with her. How long have you been here? About 3 months. She didn't look away. I worked in medical billing. Then my mother got sick. I left my job to care for her. When she passed, I fell behind on rent. Lost everything. She told it like reading a report. Facts. Not seeking sympathy. That caught his attention. Most people wanted something from him. She just wanted to be seen. Where do you sleep? Shelter when there's space. Train station when there isn't. Lila. She stays with me. Ethan looked at the child. So small. So vulnerable. She needs more than this, he said quietly. Marissa nodded. No defense. I know. I apply for jobs every day. But without an address, without childcare, without certification. She trailed off. I can't afford the exam fee. I can't afford childcare to study. Can't afford anything to change anything. She said it without bitterness. Just fact. Ethan studied her face.
No anger.
No self-pity. Just exhaustion wrapped in dignity. On impulse, Ethan reached into his wallet, pulled out a black credit card. No spending limit. He held it out to her. Marissa stared at it. What is this? You can use it for the next 24 hours.
No restrictions.
Buy whatever you need.
She didn't take it. Why?
He told the truth. I want to see what someone does when they're trusted. She studied his face, searching for the trick. There's no catch.
No.
You won't report it stolen?
No.
A long pause. Then, slowly, she took the card. Her fingers brushed his. Cold.
Rough. Real.
He handed her his business card. I'll come back tomorrow morning. He stood up. Thank you, she whispered. Just real. Ethan walked away. Didn't look back. But he felt her there. Behind him. On that cold floor. Holding that card. His phone buzzed. His assistant. Sir, you missed the conference call. Reschedule it. Silence. Sir, the card. There's no limit. If she goes on a spending spree. I know. You're not worried? Ethan thought about Marissa's face. Her quiet dignity. Her daughter sleeping peacefully. No, he said. I'm not worried. He hung up. Walked into the cold morning. And for the first time in years, he felt something. Anticipation. Like something was about to change. He just didn't know what. Ethan walked through the station without looking back. But he felt her there. Behind him. On that cold floor. Holding that card. His assistant's voice echoed in his mind. There's no limit on that card, sir. He knew the risk. A stranger. A black card. 24 hours. It was insane. Everything he had built was based on not doing things like this. On calculating. On controlling. On trusting data, not people. So why had he done it? He didn't have an answer. And that bothered him more than the risk. For the first time in decades, he had acted on instinct. And instinct terrified him. Back in his penthouse, Ethan couldn't focus. He sat in the dark. City lights glowing below. Whiskey in his hand. Untouched. His phone lay on the table beside him. Screen dark.
No notifications.
He kept glancing at it. Waiting. For what? He didn't know. A purchase? A mistake? A confirmation? He had given strangers money before. Charity donations. Foundation grants. But this was different. This was personal. This was trust without conditions. And it terrified him. Because if she proved worthy of trust, what did that say about all the people he had refused to trust before? Marissa didn't move for a long time. The card sat in her palm.
Heavy. Warm. Impossible.
Lila stirred in her arms.
Mama?
Cold. Marissa pulled her closer. She looked at the card again. Black. Metal. No limit. She could do anything with this. A hotel room. Warm beds. Hot food. All the things she hadn't touched in months. Her hand trembled. Then she remembered his face. The way he looked at her. Not with pity. Like she was a person. Like he trusted her. She stood up slowly. And walked. Not toward hotels. Toward the public library. Because libraries had computers. And computers meant she could finally execute her plan. The library was warm. Marissa almost cried when she walked in. Just being somewhere warm. Somewhere normal. She found a computer in the corner.
Sat down.
Lila sleeping against her chest. She pulled out a small notebook from her bag. Pages worn. Filled with handwriting. Her plan. Months of research. Months of dreaming. Months of waiting for a chance. She opened it to the first page. Step by step. Every dollar calculated. Every possibility considered. She just never had the money to start. Until now. Her hand shook as she pulled out the black card. This was it. The moment everything could change. Midnight. Ethan still sat in the dark. Whiskey untouched. Phone still dark. He almost convinced himself she had thrown it away. Maybe she was scared. Maybe she lost it. No transaction meant no risk. He should have felt relieved. Instead, he felt disappointed. That made no sense. He barely knew her. And yet, somewhere beneath the walls he had built, a small voice whispered, "Maybe she's different. At 6:14 a.m., his phone buzzed. Transaction, $38.20, pharmacy. Ethan stared. Pharmacy.
Small.
Practical. Necessary. He leaned back. Okay, that made sense. A good sign. 10 minutes later, another buzz. Transaction, $72. Discount children's clothing store. Ethan almost smiled. Winter clothes. For Lila. He could picture it. A warm coat. New boots. Things a child should have. Things no child should go without. He thought about the little girl's thin shoes. Her pale cheeks. The way she shivered even in sleep. This was good. This was right. A mother putting her child first. He nodded to himself. Smart woman. Good mother. His trust was not misplaced. Then another buzz. Transaction, $395. Professional testing center. Ethan sat up straight. Testing center? He read it again. Medical coding certification exam. This wasn't survival. This was strategy. This was investment. This was a woman who didn't just want to survive. She wanted to rebuild. She wanted to qualify. She wanted to earn. He leaned forward, suddenly fully awake. This was not someone looking for a handout. This was someone looking for a ladder. And she had just found the first rung. Who was this woman? What made her different from everyone else? Another buzz. $118. Little Stars Childcare. Registration deposit. Ethan nodded slowly. Childcare. So she could work. So she could study. So she could become something more. Each purchase felt intentional, measured, planned. Not a single impulsive dollar. Not one selfish moment. Just step after step after step. He pulled out a notepad, started writing down each transaction, trying to understand her plan. And the more he wrote, the more impressed he became. This wasn't spending. This was architecture. She was building a life, brick by brick. Another buzz. $84. Medical uniform supplier. Ethan smiled. Actually smiled. A uniform. She was preparing to work, to show up, to be ready.
Scrubs.
Comfortable shoes. The things medical professionals wore. She wasn't just buying clothes. She was buying identity. The identity of someone who belongs. Someone who works. Someone who contributes. He thought about the woman on the cold floor. The dignity in her eyes. And now this. Proof that he was right about her. She wasn't waiting to be saved. She was preparing to save herself. Late afternoon. Ethan's phone lit up again. $1,200. Harborview Apartments. Application and security hold. Ethan lowered the phone slowly. Not a hotel. Not luxury. An application. A deposit. A future. For walls. A door that locks. A place to call home. He calculated quickly. Certification. Childcare. Uniform. Apartment. She had built an entire life plan in one day. With a card a stranger handed her. With trust she didn't ask for. With a chance she had been waiting for. Ethan leaned back, stared at the ceiling. And for the first time in years, he felt something he couldn't name. Something that looked a lot like hope. "Who are you, Marissa?" he whispered. The morning stretched like rubber. Ethan couldn't stop checking his phone. Every few minutes.
Glance. Check.
Nothing. He had canceled all his meetings. His assistant thought he was sick. He was sick. Sick with something he couldn't name. Anticipation.
Curiosity.
Hope. He sat at his desk, but he wasn't working. He was waiting. For a stranger's next move. For the next piece of her puzzle. For proof that he was right about her. A billionaire waiting for a homeless woman to make a move. If anyone knew, they'd think he'd lost his mind. Maybe he had. Marissa barely slept. The library had closed at midnight. She spent the night in the station, Lila tucked inside her coat, the card pressed against her heart like a secret. When morning came, she went back to the library. More research, more planning, more steps. She had made her list months ago. Now she could finally check things off. Certification scheduled. Childcare deposit paid. Uniform ordered. Apartment application submitted. But there was more. Things she hadn't let herself dream about. A real bed for Lila. Warm meals every day. A future. She opened the laptop again. Ethan's phone buzzed again. $45.30 grocery store. He nodded.
Food.
Basics.
Smart.
$28.50. Pharmacy. Refill. Prescription. Something ongoing. Maybe for Lila. Maybe for herself. $15. Laundromat. He almost laughed. Laundry. Of course. She needed clean clothes for interviews. These weren't luxuries. These were necessities. The foundations of a life. Each buzz told him more about her. Each purchase revealed another layer. She wasn't spending recklessly. She was building carefully, brick by brick.
Dollar by dollar.
Then something different. $35, public transportation monthly pass. Ethan paused. A monthly pass meant she was planning to move around the city regularly. To get to work. To get to appointments. To get to her new life. Not just surviving day to day. Planning week to week. He smiled again. She's thinking ahead. Most people in her situation would focus on today. She was focused on next month, next year, the rest of her life. This woman was different, and he was beginning to understand just how different. Marissa's phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Hello? Marissa Thompson? Yes. This is Harborview Apartments. We received your application. We'd like to schedule an interview. Marissa's heart stopped. When? Tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Can you make it?
Yes, she whispered. Yes, I can make it. She hung up, looked at Lila. We did it, baby. We did it. Tears fell, but different tears now. Not pain. Hope. Finally, hope. She went to the discount store. $22 secondhand blazer. $18 comfortable flats. $12 simple haircut at a training salon. She wasn't buying luxury. She was buying respectability. Buying the ability to walk into that apartment interview looking like someone who belonged. Like someone who deserved a chance. Like someone who wasn't the woman on the station floor. She looked in the mirror. For the first time in months, she saw herself. Not a homeless woman. Not a single mother struggling. Just Marissa. Ready. By evening, the transactions slowed. Ethan's phone grew quiet. He counted. 15 transactions in total. Every single one necessary. Every single one purposeful. Every single one building toward something. He added them up. $2,100.43. Less than he spent on dinner last week. But worth more than anything money had ever bought him.
He stared at the list.
A life assembled in one day. For less than the cost of a nice meal. It changed something in him. Something he couldn't explain. At 9:47 p.m., his phone buzzed one last time. $8.50, small grocery store. Milk, bread, eggs. Ethan stared at it. Not a restaurant. Not takeout. Not convenience food. Ingredients. She was going to cook. In her new apartment. With her daughter. A real meal. He put the phone down. Something tight in his chest loosened. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was living. She was building a home. One grocery trip at a time. One meal at a time. One day at a time. That night, Marissa sat in the station, but different spot. Near the entrance, but not on the floor. On a bench. Lila slept beside her, wrapped in a new blanket.
Warm. Full.
Safe. Marissa looked at the card in her hand. Tomorrow she would return it. But tonight, she let herself imagine. A kitchen. A bedroom. A door that locked.
A job.
A future. A life. She closed her eyes. And for the first time in months, she didn't feel cold. Inside or out. Tomorrow, everything would change.
Tonight, she dreamed.
Ethan stood at his window. Midnight. City glittering below. He thought about the woman. Her dignity. Her plan. Her restraint. She could have taken everything. A new wardrobe.
A hotel suite.
A shopping spree. Instead, she bought a future.
Piece by piece. Dollar by dollar.
Step by step. He had spent his life trusting numbers. But numbers had never done this, never made him feel this. Wealth wasn't about what you could buy. It was about what you could make possible. He whispered into the darkness. Tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow, Marissa. And for the first time in decades, he couldn't wait for morning. Ethan arrived at the station at 9:45 a.m., 15 minutes early. He never arrived early to anything. But today was different. He walked through the entrance, eyes searching. The usual crowd. Commuters rushing. Trains announcing. Life moving. Then he saw her. Same spot, but different.
She was standing.
Not sitting on the cold floor. Not slumped against the wall.
Standing.
Waiting. Like someone with purpose. Like someone who belonged. Something shifted in his chest. This was no longer just a test. This was something more. Marissa stood near the wall where she used to sit. Lila held her hand instead of sleeping in her arms. The little girl wore a new coat. New boots. Her cheeks had color. Beside Marissa, a small bag. Inside, the things she had bought. The uniform. The notebook. The receipts. And the card. Ready to return. She saw him before he saw her.
Tall.
Distinguished. Walking toward her like a man with purpose. Her heart pounded. This was the moment. 24 hours. One card. A lifetime of change. All coming down to this. Ethan stopped a few feet away. They looked at each other.
Different now.
Both changed.
Good morning, he said.
Good morning. Silence. But comfortable. How is she? Ethan nodded toward Lila. Marissa smiled. Real smile. She's warm. She's fed. She's safe. Ethan nodded. Good. That's good. Simple words. But beneath them, something unspoken passed between them. Respect. Gratitude. Recognition. Two strangers, connected by one moment of trust. Marissa reached into her bag, pulled out a folder.
Not thick.
But heavy with meaning. She handed it to Ethan. He took it, opened it. Inside were printed confirmations. Certification exam, scheduled. Childcare registration, confirmed. Uniform order, placed. Apartment application, submitted. Interview today. He read each one slowly. Understanding dawning. This wasn't random spending. This was architecture. She had built an entire future in 24 hours.
Piece by piece. Dollar by dollar.
Step by step. I worked in medical billing before, Marissa said quietly. I had the skills. I just lost everything when my mother got sick. Ethan listened. I made a plan months ago. Every step. Every dollar. I just couldn't afford to start. She pointed at the folder. That's the plan. All of it. Ethan looked at her. You did all this in one day. Yes. With a card from a stranger. Yes. He studied her face.
No pride. No arrogance.
Just quiet satisfaction. The satisfaction of someone who had finally been given a chance. Ethan was quiet for a moment. You didn't buy anything for yourself, he said.
No hotel.
No new clothes.
No luxury.
Marissa shook her head. I bought a chance. The words hung in the cold air. Simple. True. Powerful. A chance to work again. A chance to provide for her. A chance to be someone. She looked at Lila. That's all I ever wanted. Just a chance. Ethan felt those words settle into him. A chance. Not a handout. Not charity. Just a chance. Something everyone deserves. Something few receive. Ethan felt something crack inside him. The walls he had built. The armor he wore. The distance he kept from everyone. All of it. Cracking. He had spent his life calculating. Measuring. Protecting. And this woman, this stranger on a train station floor, had just shown him what courage really looked like. Marissa, he said. She looked up. I want to help more.
Permanently. Housing.
A salary. Whatever you need. The words came from somewhere deeper than data. Somewhere he had forgotten existed. Before Marissa could answer, Lila tugged her sleeve.
Nama?
Can we go see the kitchen now? Ethan looked down at the little girl. Big eyes. Innocent. Hopeful. Kitchen, he asked. Marissa smiled. The apartment I applied for. It has a kitchen. She's never had one before. Ethan knelt down. Lila level. You're going to have your own kitchen? Lila nodded seriously. With a fridge. And a stove.
Mama promised.
Something in that moment, a child's simple dream, touched him more than any business deal ever had. Ethan stood up, looked at Marissa. Let me do this. Let me make sure you never end up back here. Marissa was quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke. I'm grateful, she said softly. More than you know. She met his eyes. But I don't need to be rescued. The words hit him like a wave. I needed access. You opened one door. I'll handle the rest. She held out the card. Thank you for trusting me. In that moment, she wasn't the woman on the floor. She was his equal. Maybe more. Ethan took the card, stared at it, then at her. In that moment, everything shifted. He had always believed wealth meant control.
Control over outcomes. Control over people. Control over life.
But this woman had just taught him something he had never understood. Real wealth wasn't control. It was access. It was removing barriers. It was stepping aside so someone else could walk through. I learned something from you, he said quietly. That dignity doesn't need money, but it does need opportunity. Marissa smiled. That's all I ever wanted. Just the chance to stand on my own. Ethan nodded, then stand.
She did.
Taller than before. And for the first time, he saw her not as someone to save, but as someone to admire. They parted at the station entrance.
No promises.
No plans. Just a nod and a silent understanding. Marissa walked east toward her apartment interview. Lila's small hand in hers. Steps lighter than they'd been in months. Ethan walked west toward his office. But something was different. The city looked the same. The buildings. The people. The noise. But he saw it differently now. Through her eyes. For the first time in decades, he wasn't calculating his next move. He was feeling someone else's journey. And it changed everything. Ethan's assistant looked up when he walked in. Sir, you missed 3 meetings. The board is waiting. He walked past her into his office. Closed the door.
Sat down.
The room felt smaller. Less important. He looked at the quarterly reports on his desk. Numbers he once cared about more than anything. Now they just looked like numbers. He picked up the folder Marissa had given him. Read each confirmation slowly. Certification. Childcare. Uniform. Apartment. A life. Assembled in one day. For less than he spent on lunch. Something shifted inside him. Permanently. Marissa stood outside Harborview Apartments. Small building. Clean. Modest. Perfect. She smoothed her second-hand blazer. Looked down at Lila. How do I look, baby? Lila studied her seriously. Pretty, mama. Marissa smiled. Let's do this. The apartment manager was a woman in her 60s. Kind eyes. You were homeless?
Yes.
For 3 months. And now, I have a certification exam scheduled. Childcare arranged. A job waiting. The manager studied her, then smiled. Welcome to Harborview, Marissa. You move in Saturday. Just like that, a door opened. A life changed. That night, Ethan sat in his penthouse. Same view, same city, same life, but different. He thought about his father, a construction worker who died when Ethan was 12, who worked double shifts, who gave Ethan everything, including dignity. He had spent 40 years building walls to protect himself from pain. But those walls had also kept out connection. Humanity. At midnight, he made a decision. A foundation. In his father's name. To help single mothers. To provide childcare deposits. To pay for certification exams. Small things that cost little, but changed everything. He worked until dawn. For the first time, he was calculating possibility. Saturday arrived cold and bright. Marissa stood outside Harborview Apartments. A key in her hand.
Real.
Metal. Hers. Lila tugged her sleeve.
Mama?
Is this her home? Marissa knelt down. tears in her eyes. Happy tears. Yes, baby. This is our home. They walked up the stairs. To door 2B. She inserted the key.
Turned it.
Pushed the door open. Empty rooms.
Bara floors.
Sunlight streaming through windows.
Perfect.
Lila ran inside.
Mama.
The kitchen. Then a knock. A package. A photograph. A note. A job offer. Marissa read it 3 times. Looked at Lila. At the sunlight. At her new life. She whispered, "Thank you." And meant it. 1 month passed like water. Marissa woke every morning in her own bed. Her own bed. She still whispered those words sometimes.
Just to feel them.
Her own kitchen.
Her own door that locked.
Lila had her own room now. Small. But hers.
Pink walls.
A tiny bed. A shelf with books. Every morning, Marissa made breakfast in her kitchen.
Eggs. Toast.
Milk. Real food. In her own refrigerator. She still cried sometimes. Not sad tears. Grateful tears. Because she knew she had been given something precious. Not just money, but a chance. The hospital called on a Tuesday. Your certification came through. Can you start Monday? Marissa held the phone. Didn't speak for a moment. Yes, she whispered. Yes, I can start Monday. She hung up. Looked at Lila playing on the floor. We did it, baby. That night, she laid out her uniform.
Clean. Pressed.
Ready. Her name embroidered on the chest. Marissa Thompson, medical billing specialist. She touched the letters.
Real. Hers.
Not a homeless woman anymore. Not a woman asking for help. A woman who had earned her place. Across the city, Ethan stood at a podium. Cameras flashed. Behind him, a banner read, "The Marcus Cole Foundation, building futures, one door at a time." He spoke about his father, a construction worker who believed in dignity. He spoke about single mothers, about unseen struggles, about small barriers that become walls. He didn't mention Marissa by name, but she was in every word. When you give someone trust without conditions, he said, you don't just change their life. You change your own. The room applauded. Ethan smiled. For the first time, it reached his eyes. 3 days later, Marissa's phone buzzed. An unknown number. Miss Thompson, this is the Marcus Cole Foundation. We're having our inaugural gala this Saturday. Mr. Cole requested your presence personally. Marissa's heart stopped. Me, you, and your daughter, as guests of honor. She sat down slowly.
A car.
A gala. Guest of honor. Her. The woman who sat on a cold train station floor. The woman no one saw. Now invited to a room full of important people. Life had a strange way of turning things around. Saturday evening. Marissa stood in front of a mirror. Not a second-hand blazer this time. A dress. Simple. Elegant.
Blue.
The foundation had sent it. With a note. Wear this. You've earned it. Lila wore a matching dress. Tiny. Adorable. Twirling.
Mana. Ina princess.
Marissa laughed. No, baby. You're more than that. You're proof. Proof of what? That dreams come true. When you don't give up. She looked in the mirror. Saw herself differently now. Not surviving. Thriving. The car pulled up to a grand hotel.
Lights.
Music. Important people. Marissa stepped out, holding Lila's hand, walking into a room full of strangers. But she wasn't afraid. She had been through worse. A man approached. Miss Thompson, right this way. He led her through the crowd. People turned, whispered. She kept walking, head high, back straight, like she belonged. Because she did. Not because of the dress. Not because of the invitation. Because she had earned her place. Every step, every struggle, every tear, all of it led here. Ethan stood near the stage. He saw her before she saw him. Different now. Transformed. Not the woman on the cold floor. A woman who had taken a chance and built something. Their eyes met. He walked toward her. Marissa.
Ethan.
They stood there, smiling. No words needed. Lila tugged his sleeve. Mr. Ethan, we have a kitchen now, with a fridge and a stove. Ethan knelt down. I know. Your mama sent me pictures. Want to see it sometime? I would love that. Simple words. But beneath them, everything. Later, Ethan stood at the microphone. Tonight, I want to honor someone who achieved everything with nothing but trust and 24 hours. Marissa walked to the stage, Lila in her arms. She taught me that wealth isn't what you have. It's what you make possible. Marissa took the microphone. I just needed a chance.
Someone saw me.
Someone trusted me, and I ran with it.
She paused.
Never stop running.
Never stop believing.
Sometimes, one person seeing you is enough to change everything. The room rose to its feet. Applause thundering. 2 strangers. 1 train station. A lifetime of change. 6 months passed like a dream. Marissa woke every morning in her apartment. Made breakfast. Walked Lila to daycare. Took the train to work. The same train station where she once sat on coal floor. Now she walked through it with purpose. With a badge that said Medical Billing Specialist. People didn't look away from her anymore. She looked back. Not with anger. Not with bitterness. Just with knowing. She knew what invisible felt like. And she promised herself she would never let anyone feel invisible again. Every face she passed, she saw. Really saw. Because someone once saw her. The Marcus Cole Foundation had helped 47 single mothers in 6 months. 47 women who received childcare deposits. 47 women who paid for certification exams. 47 women who found apartments with security deposits. 47 stories. All because one woman showed what was possible with just a chance. Ethan visited every single one. Not as a billionaire. Not as a benefactor. Just as someone who wanted to see. And every time, he saw Marissa in their faces. The same dignity. The same determination. He had spent his life building wealth. Now he was building something bigger. Hope. One Sunday afternoon, Ethan knocked on Marissa's door. Lila opened it. Big smile. Mr. Ethan.
She was taller now.
Healthier. Brighter. Come see my room first. She grabbed his hand and pulled him inside. Marissa appeared in the kitchen doorway, smiling. Lila's room had pink walls, books on a shelf, drawings everywhere, and on her small desk, a framed photograph. The train station. That morning, her and Mama standing together. You kept this, Ethan said softly. Lila nodded seriously. It's when everything started. A child understood what some adults never do. Later, Marissa and Ethan sat at the small kitchen table.
There.
Cookies. Sunlight. Thank you, Marissa said quietly. You've said that. I'll never stop saying it. Ethan shook his head. You did this. Not me. I did it because you saw me. He was quiet for a moment. I saw myself in you. My father. What he sacrificed. What he never had. Marissa reached across the table. Touched his hand. He would be proud of you. Ethan's eyes glistened. I hope so. I know so.
2 people. Different backgrounds.
Same understanding. Connected forever. That night, the foundation held a small gathering. 47 women. Their children. Supporters. Volunteers. Ethan stood at the front. 6 months ago, I met a woman at a train station. She was invisible to everyone. But she wasn't invisible to me. He looked at Marissa. She taught me that wealth isn't what you have. It's what you make possible. Today, 47 women have homes. 47 children have futures. Marissa walked to the front. Took the microphone. Someone asked what I bought with a stranger's card. I bought a chance. Now look what we're building together. The room rose. Applause thundering. Later that night, Marissa stood at her window. Lila asleep. The city glittering below. She thought about that cold morning. The man who stopped. The card he handed her. The trust she didn't ask for. A home.
A job.
A future. 47 families. All because one person saw her. Across the city, Ethan stood at his own window, thinking the same thing. Two strangers, one moment, a lifetime of change. Everyone deserves a chance. Sometimes that's all it takes. If Marissa's story touched your heart, hit that subscribe button right now. Not for me, for yourself. Because every time you subscribe, you're saying yes to more stories like this. Stories about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Stories about hope. Stories about trust. And leave a comment below. Tell us, has anyone ever given you a chance when you needed it most? We read every single comment. Your story could inspire someone else who's struggling right now. Subscribe.
Share.
And remember, sometimes all it takes is one person seeing you.
See you in the next story.